Hey, how's it going, people? Welcome back to our channel for some more Arsenal transfer news, transfer updates, discussions and opinions. In today's transfer update video, for the first time in a very long time, we won't have Osimhen, we won't have Onana, we won't have, I don't know, Tony, Zirkzee and any other player, as I said, Onana, and other players we have been linked with every single freaking day. Today, we're gonna have a look at some transfers Arsenal have been linked recently that more or less we haven't discussed on this channel yet. So, like, comment, subscribe, don't forget to leave your opinions down in comments below, and let's get into it. And we're kicking things off with this title. Arsenal and Manchester United battle for cut price 30 million La Liga 21-year-old. Now, Arsenal are interested in highly rated Javi Guerra, 21-year-old Spaniard who has 100 million release clauses, could be available for less than 30 million, making him an attractive prospect for both clubs. Obviously, it's right up Arsenal's alley, signing player that is below 26 years old. First things first. Second of all, I have no bloody idea who he is. It's sad in a way, because I watch La Liga quite a bit, I watch Valencia quite a bit because it's one of my favorite clubs, but I haven't paid him that much attention. I'm gonna be honest with you. All I can say that for me, when I have watched Valencia, he hasn't set the world on fire. I would give him about 5 or 6 out of 10 for the season and in general. Now, why Arsenal would want him? Obviously, it's the price tag. Is he ready for Premier League? No chance whatsoever. Because if he's not ready for La Liga, how could he be ready for Premier League, obviously? So that will be very interesting to see how this develops. Obviously, it's a massive rumor. Who knows what's going to happen with that? United are interested apparently in him as well. 100 million release clauses. Basically, in La Liga, every single player pretty much has release clauses to protect their value. Sounds familiar, that phrase, doesn't it? Arsenal re-sign players to protect their value so hardly, so passionately, that they cannot get rid of them. In the end, they'll leave on free or we loan them out until their contract runs out. That's how Arsenal operate to protect their value. La Liga does it a bit differently, and in a way rightly so. It will be very interesting what's going to happen with him. Midfielder number 8, Javi Guerra, celebrates, it's in this picture basically. But highly rated in La Liga, he plays for Valencia, as we talked about. I don't know what to say about him. All I know that is he, for me, is not Premier League ready. Obviously, 8 games in Spanish under-21 team. I'm not gonna lie, quite a bit of an achievement. Because getting into Spanish national team in general is pretty much impossible task, especially in midfield. And same goes for under-20s, under-21s, under-18s and everything. They have so much talent. Many players just change nations. For example, they have African roots and something. They just change to that and everything. So it is what it is at the end of the day. But Javi Guerra, personally, wouldn't take him at Arsenal. Mostly because he hasn't done anything to talk to about him that highly. Obviously, you can sign someone low-key and then be not, well, he could be amazing. But again, 30 million euros, about 26 million pounds, not worth it. Rather, for the same amount of money, just buy Fofana. Just straight up go and buy Fofana. Moving things on to Adrien Rabiot. Now, Arsenal could easily replace Partey with signing Rabiot on a free transfer. Now, I don't like Rabiot whatsoever. As a player, yes, he's played for Juventus and everything. So the biggest thing for me in this instance is, yes, he plays for French national team. He started the last game as well. He starts quite a bit of games for French national team. For me, biggest thing in this is, if he is not good enough for Juventus, how can he be good enough for Arsenal? Hello? Even as a squad player, how can he be good enough for Arsenal? It makes no sense. For once in our lives, if Arsenal sign Rabiot again, Arsenal will prove that they are a joke of a club and they don't take things seriously. Because how can you not see that he's not good enough for Juventus, but you think he will be good enough for Arsenal? Like how? How is this a thing? Especially in Partey's position. He's not a number 6. As a number 8, yes, I can see that. As a number 6, no chance in hell whatsoever. So that is the biggest thing for me. On a free, yes, could be somewhat cheap. Although, since he would come on free, again, that means he can ask for whatever he wants. Agent fees will go skyrocket. And in the end, when you kind of accumulate it all up, all the fees you have to pay, it will be more or less like signing a player. Straight up. So it will be very interesting to see how this develops. he did somewhat good. Italian Juventus are making an effort to keep him on board with a new deal on the table. However, there's no guarantee that he will agree to this. I'm sure he will not be short of offers, basically, as the report is saying. Biggest thing about this is we have heard that Rabiot hasn't decided for quite some time on this. He's been very indecisive about what he's gonna do, while keeping it secret, basically, because he has had an extension on the table for a few months and he hasn't decided just yet. With Douglas Luiz coming in and McKennie leaving, Rabiot actually could be great partnership with Douglas Luiz, but I don't even know. Thiago Motta, great manager, did wonders for a Bologna. Let's see how he does at Juventus. But again, if he leaves and doesn't resign, that's his decision. But for me personally, for France, he hasn't set the world on fire, and he is not setting world on fire for Juventus as well. For France, when they played in 1-0 win against Austria, again, he was, I would say, 6 out of 10. He wasn't excellent, he wasn't bad, he was bang average. So I'm not sure whether that would be a smart signing or not, especially on a free. For me, it's a no. Let me know what you think down in comments below. Here is a player that is gaining some traction links-wise. We've been linked with him before. It's Guehi. Arsenal and Newcastle keen on England, the defender that is shining at the Euros. Now, that is Guehi from Crystal Palace. It's very interesting what could happen here, because obviously Arsenal have quite a bit of defenders, and all of them can play more or less quite across all over the board. Thing about this is, there are two positions we don't have backups for, right center back and left center back. Yes, you can argue Kiwior. Now, we're gonna talk about Kiwior in a second, but Guehi, if Kiwior leaves, which we're gonna talk about, as I said, in a bit, would be a great replacement. Now, the issue with this is, he's a regular starter at Crystal Palace, Glasner is doing there a great job, and he's in England international now. Would he want to sit behind Gabriel most of the season? Hell no. If I was Guehi, I wouldn't. Given how, and I hate to say this, that United could sign Guehi mostly because they need him. Newcastle as well, they had loads of injuries. Their defensive line could use some upgrades. Shar gets a lot of injuries, not the youngest anymore. Dan Burn as well, he plays left back. Guehi could slot in there if it's needed. So Guehi definitely would fit in into Newcastle pretty nicely. He would fit in into United setup also pretty nicely. Obviously on that left side they have Lisandro Martinez, so that would be very interesting to see how that would develop if they sign Guehi. There are rumors that he would be available for about 40 to 50 million, which is quite cheap given that it's English tax and all that stuff. But it feels like generally in Crystal Palace there's a fire sale going on. Eze about potentially leaving, Olise about to potentially leave, Guehi as well, in transfer rumors potentially to be leaving. So that is very interesting to see how this develops. Would I take Guehi at Arsenal? Yes, 100% I would. Would he himself see him at Arsenal? I don't think so. If you are willing to pay, let's just say 45-50 million for Guehi, I much rather chuck extra 10 million and go for Eze or Olise. That would be me. Not to mention the fact that they want Reece Nelson. Give them Reece Nelson plus 40 million, since Crystal Palace value him about 12-13 million. That would be 13 plus 40, 53 million. And get Eze. Anyone says no to that? Maybe add 15 plus, 45 plus Reece Nelson, and bang, get Olise. Anyone says no to that as well? I don't think so. So that will be very interesting to see. I would take Guehi at Arsenal. Let me know down in comments what you think, but I definitely believe you would as well. The question is, would he want to be playing the second role behind Gabriel? And that for me is a massive no from him, if I was in his shoes, obviously. So yeah, he's strong, he's quick, he defends pretty nicely, so it will be very interesting to see how this develops. And here we go, just as we talked about Guehi and we mentioned Kiwior, here it is. Milan call agents of Arsenal's defender Kiwior. Now that's a report. Obviously Juventus and AC Milan both are big fans of Kiwior. They both want to sign him. AC Milan is being talked a bit louder recently because Juventus was the first who wanted him. And it looks like AC Milan directors have reportedly had direct contact with representatives of Arsenal defender Jakub Kiwior, but it remains to be seen if Gunners are willing to sell the Poland international. Now, obviously, the thing is, Arsenal signed him for about 20-something million. And if, let's just say, offer about 35 million came in for him, I would sell. I'm not gonna lie. And also, just as the season ended and the transfer rumors starting to pick up pace, there were numerous reports saying that Arsenal won't sell Kiwior, but they could be very tempted if a very lucrative deal comes in. And that deal was rumored to be around 35 something in that region million. Now, would I sell him? I would actually. And then I would go and get Guehi if he wanted to. But selling him means we would need another center back because we don't have a backup for Gabriel. If Gabriel gets injured, of course, he's now having a knock, so we'll see how he recovers fully for Copa America. But the thing is, we haven't seen Kiwior properly at center back as well. We've seen him only at left back. He has played a few games at center back. Remember when he tied his shoes when opposing team was scoring goals? Hey, thumbs up for that. But overall, we have only seen him at left back. And for me, he's not a left back, he's a center back. He's a left-sided center back. But the thing is, Saliba and Gabriel have a very strong partnership. And they don't get injured. At least last season they didn't get injured. Before that, Saliba got injured. Gabriel also didn't get injured. So it will be very interesting to see how this develops, for me personally. Because if we sell Kiwior, we need to sign a center back. And personally, I would go for Guehi then. I think if Kiwior left, Guehi definitely would entertain the option. It will be very interesting to how this goes. Will Kiwior actually leave the team? But for me, there's one big issue with this. Kiwior is linked here in this article, in this report, with leaving Arsenal. But we haven't had a peep recently with Reece Nelson, Edin Nketiah, Smith Rowe, as much as it pains me to say, Zinchenko, none of that. Zinchenko has literally gone dead since Bayern Munich links. Nketiah as well has gone dead since Fulham links, and that was about 2 weeks ago. The recent one has been Reece Nelson as one of the options for Crystal Palace. ESR was one of the options for Fulham. We'll see how that develops, of course, still. There are not many rumors on that, but might happen. So that is the big thing. It's like Edu is not... He knew, basically, for me. Edu knew with Mikel Arteta, already after January window, that they're gonna sell Edin Nketiah, Reece Nelson, most likely Zinchenko, given how he didn't play pretty much at all towards the end of the season. Maybe Emil Smith-Rowe as well. They knew, Ramsdale as well, they knew that these 5 players would get sold, most likely. And so far, nothing. Genuinely nothing. And Arteta always swears by this thing. We want to do our business early. So how are you doing this early if you're not selling your players to get money back, to go and sign other players? How are you not doing this? Why you are not doing this? Because so far, it genuinely leads to a situation where maybe 1 or 2 of them will get sold, rest of them will get loaned out, and that's about it. And it will happen again and again and again, and that will be it. Either contract runs out or we will sell them for about 2 million. Genuinely. So that is the biggest thing for me. We are linked with selling players that at the moment is not priority to be sold. So where is the Arsenal priorities in selling and signing? It feels like they have legit zero clue what to do, and if they have a clue what to do, how to go about it. Here we go, some more AC Milan stuff. AC Milan and Arsenal show interest in Monaco midfielder Yusuf Fofana. Cool story, bro. Arsenal have been showing interest in Fofana for about a month, it feels like, but it's been 2 weeks. He's available for 25 million. Why we haven't signed him yet? Why? Why? We all know that Partey most likely is leaving. Arsenal want to sell allegedly Emil Smith-Rowe. We are generally having 2 midfielders, Rice and Jorginho, for 8 and 6 role. That's it. So why are we not signing him? He would be a bargain and a half to sign him. And why we are not doing this? What's stopping us? Legit, we have no money? Give over, we are Arsenal, we have money. Are we just stricken by FFP and PSR? Also no. Because, let's be real, these rules work only if you don't sell. But then again, it falls on Edu. Because if you sign, you need to sell to balance the checkbooks. And we all know how awful we are at selling. And so far it looks like we're gonna sell none of these bums on the bench. Genuinely, none of them. And we are trying to sign someone. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because it's the 3rd window now in a row in the summer where we have been told by countless reports Arsenal need to sell before they sign. And again, we are in the same position. Arsenal need to sell before they sign. It's a never-ending story. Why in 3 years? Why in the 4.5 years when he has spent 600 plus million? We haven't addressed this issue, where we have awful players on awful contracts and they are still here. Because these 3 things are ruining our transfer business year after year after year. We are overpaying, overspending on awful players just for the next window to screw us over. Because sooner or later it will catch up to us. And so far, it's looking very bleak. Because I can guarantee you, we'll be monitoring, showing interest in Fofana until bang. It will be 1 hour, random time, we'll be monitoring, and 2 minutes later, Romano, Ornstein, someone will say, here we go, Fofana to AC Milan. And that will be it. Okay, here we go. Arsenal have backed away from signing incredible 43 million player because his crazy wage demand. And we are talking in this instance about Williams. Yes, we are talking about Williams. The Premier League runners-up in Arsenal have Saka, Martinelli out wide, while Trossard and Jesus can also play on the flanks. And Trossard did that last season. He started there. He had a very good run of form at that time. Nico Williams. He was allegedly one of the hot prospects of Spain. At the same time, there are certain things he's very average at. If we want to sign someone like that, we might as well keep Martinelli, because they're very similar in this instance. They have much pace. Yes, maybe Nico Williams has more skills, but otherwise it's the same thing. The thing is, Martinelli is better at finishing. Although end part of the season didn't show that. Martinelli had about 6 or 7 one-on-ones and he missed all of them. So it will be very interesting to see. But the thing about Nico Williams is why he's asking so many wages. Bilbao basically use only their own players. They don't sign from anyone. They grow the players themselves, more 99.99999% of the time, and to kind of protect them and to have them stay, they pay them bigger wages, and that makes sense. Let's be real. If they sell, they get profits. They just don't sign most of the time. So yeah, that's why Nico Williams is asking such high wages. Obviously, there's a Premier League tax potentially because they know we have money and all that stuff, but mostly because he already is about 150 grand a week. And it makes sense that he comes to Premier League, he's asking about 170, 180. And that is way too much for Nico Williams, especially since he's going to sit on the bench most of the time, by looks of things. But this is, again, a reoccurring theme. This is not the first winger Arteta has tried to sign while we have Martinelli. And I have no idea why, because we tried to sign Mudryk. Yes, we signed Trossard. We tried to sign few more wingers in Martinelli's position. So there's either two things. Either Arteta was looking for a backup to make him grow and develop, or he's not believing in Martinelli as much. And that is the big question. Which one is it? And the last one for today is something I would love to see. Arsenal could choose to revive their interest in Pedro Neto. That is something I am all standing here for. 45 million, Pedro Neto, come to the carpet, come to Arsenal basically. Yesterday for Portugal, he came on, in basically 5 minutes did more than certain players did during the whole game. The speed he had, the agility he had, the skill he possesses and has shown in Premier League and shown yesterday is absolutely staggering. And the fact that Arsenal still haven't gone in for him is kind of mad. Might be that the amount of Wolves might be asking. But just ask. Make an inquiry. Just ask. Jalen, ask. All you have to do is ask to find out. Because he definitely would spice up our team and people say, oh, he's injury prone and everything. He's not our starter, let's be real. If we sign Pedro Neto, most likely he will be a backup for Saka, for Martinelli. Depends how he wants to rotate them. He will be most likely a backup. If he's a starter, it's a different story. But if he's a backup, right, the injuries won't happen as often. They shouldn't, at least, because he's not going to play, let's just say, 50 games, game in, game out, starting every single game. He's going to play about 30. And most of many big part of them, let's just say, from the bench. And there's no argument about that it definitely would be a great deal of business for Arsenal. But will it happen? Who knows? Because Arsenal at this time, genuinely, one thing I've learned about Arsenal, if it makes sense Arsenal will never do it. Anyhow, those were the transfer rumors, opinions from me for you today. Let me know down in comments what you think, how do you feel about these links. Reports, at least, not links, reports. Enjoy football. Premier League Euros have 3 games again today, 3 tomorrow, and all that good stuff. Take care, stay safe, enjoy your evening, and see you all tomorrow. Peace.